Everybody, welcome back to Beatles News Roundup here on Vinyl Rewind. This is the monthly series where we recap the latest Beatles news stories from the past month, with this episode covering November 2025. And the big news story is the re-release of the Anthology series and music collection. A new trailer for the series premiered on the 17th, followed by the release of the music collection on the 21st. And then the first 3 episodes of the remastered series premiered on Disney Plus on the 26th, followed by 3 more on the 27th, and concluding on the 28th with the final 3, which includes the brand new 9th episode, which is made up from unused footage filmed during the original Anthology series creation back in the 90s. Now, full disclosure, I have not seen the new remastered Anthology series, primarily because I just didn't want to spend money just to watch that when I already have the DVD set. And according to people who've already seen it, the running times for this new remastered Anthology series are significantly shorter than what's on the DVDs. Some of this kind of makes sense in terms of pacing. Some of it is like factual errors, and other things are just kind of sort of like like scratches your head, like, why did they cut that out? By and large, these are well received so far. The audio sounds great. The picture looks great for the most part. Now, some fans have noticed there is more than likely some AI upscaling going on, and so you see some weird artifacting, or just like, that doesn't look like the Beatles kind of a thing. But I think by and large that's far and few between. It's not like the whole thing looks like that. Also, there's that new 9th episode, which I was kind of curious to see what people think of it. I did read one article where it basically just said it's just recut footage that was from the bonus material on the DVD set. So that kind of made me feel like, you know, I don't really need to rush out and watch this right now. I can just put on a DVD and be fine. I don't really need it to be remastered. And also, it's just like, you know, I'll probably wait until there's more stuff on Disney Plus I want to see, and then, like, you know, binge it, you know, buy it for a month, binge it, and then cancel it, because, man, we've got too many streaming services as it is at the moment. Also released was a fully restored in 4K music video for the song Real Love, with updated audio featuring MAL machine learning technology. This was the same kind of technology that they used for the single Now and Then, and this helped to separate John's voice from the original demo tape. Now, this is the new 2025 mix, which has left some fans scratching their heads in terms of how John's voice sounds. Personally, I don't love this mix as much as the 2015 mix, but let me know what you think.
And we have some late breaking news, a new casting update for the Beatles movies. This comes way of Sam Mendes adds new cast members, which includes David Morrissey playing Paul's father, Jim McCartney. And then we have Leanne Best, who is incidentally Pete Best's niece. She'll be playing John Lennon's Aunt Mimi. Then we have James Norton as Brian Epstein, Harry Lloyd as George Martin, Barry Schofield as Neil Aspinall. Then we have Daniel Hoffman-Gill as Mal Evans, Arthur Darvill as Derek Taylor, and Adam Pally as Alan Klein. Also in the press release, the castings for Cynthia Lennon and Ravi Shankar will be announced in due course.
Moving on to some random, bizarro, funny Beatles news, a YouTube channel by the name of Rednas VGM recently uploaded several more Beatles Zelda mashup songs. I think Zelda's Lullaby is probably my favorite.
Beatles, your
In Ringo news, he announced 12 new tour dates for him and his all-star band for next year. The new dates commence in May and go through June. He and the band will stay in the western half of the United States, making stops in California, Arizona, Utah, New Mexico, and Colorado. Head over to his website to learn more and to purchase tickets. In George news, on November 7th and 8th, Florida's Deerfield Beach Historical Society held a photo exhibit called George Was Here, the Best Kept Secret in Deerfield Beach. The core of the exhibit featured 18 never-before-seen photos of George Harrison from his secret 1970 visit. More than 200 fans attended the opening night, which also featured a performance by Dark Horses. I don't think the exhibit is still going on, but head over to their Instagram page to learn if they'll ever bring it back at some point. Also, this past month saw the 24th anniversary of George's passing, and his official Instagram account remembered him with a clip of him playing All Things Must Pass on an acoustic guitar. And Pete Best's news, the 24th was his 84th birthday, so happy birthday, Pete. Moving on to Paul news, he's releasing a new silent song as a bonus track on a new vinyl compilation. So back in February of 2025, more than 1,000 musicians came together to protest the UK government's planned changes to copyright law, which would make it easier to train AI models on copyrighted work without a license. The album's called Is This What We Want, and it features recordings of empty studios and performance spaces, which represents the impact on artists and music professionals' livelihoods that is expected if the government does not change course. Now, the digital version of the album reached number 38 on the UK album charts, and now it is being released on vinyl with a bonus track, a recording of an empty studio from Paul McCartney. Head over to isthiswhatwewant.com to learn more and to order. And in more Paul news, he's been posting updates while on his Got Back tour with diary entries, and they are really worth reading. One of my favorites is him blessing the marriage of a young couple who held up a sign that said, "Marry us, Paul." Head over to his official site to check it out for yourself. In John news, director Steven Soderbergh is almost finished with his new documentary that centers on John's final interview. Speaking at the Doha Film Festival, he said, "I'm excited about it. It's an incredible historical document, this interview, and so the job is to obviously present it in a way that enhances the interview and doesn't sort of distract from it. I'm not looking to reinvent the form. I'm just hoping to create a film that gets as many people to hear what John and Yoko had to say on that afternoon before he was killed as possible." As of now, the feature is still untitled and no release date has been announced. In other John news, the trailer for the Academy Award-winning animated short film War Is Over was released on the John Lennon YouTube channel. The short premiered globally on December 1st on the channel. You can also check out the hardcover picture book version of the film available at most book retailers. And also available is a limited edition 12-inch single Zoetrope picture disc featuring music from the animated short film. The songs included are the Sean Ono Lennon produced ultimate mixes of the single Happy Christmas, War Is Over, and Listen, the Snow Is Falling. Plus there's a song from the film written and conducted by Thomas Newman. You can pick up a copy over on John's official site. And in Beatles merch news, the 2025 remixes of Free as a Bird and Real Love are available as a double A-side 7-inch single pressed onto milky clear vinyl. Now the cover art appears to be the same used on the original release as well as the 2019 version of the single from the singles box set. Now the new single is only available on the Beatles web store and it costs just under $17. And while you're there, you can also check out a bunch of new anthology items for sale, including shirts, jackets, hats, hoodies, and record player slip mats. Also available are several 2026 calendars and planners, and just in time for the holidays, there are a bunch of new Christmas ornaments, a fan club pillow, and a holiday edition of the Sgt. Pepper's logo on a long sleeve shirt. In other merch news, Lucky Brand is offering a new lineup of Beatles-inspired apparel. Items include t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and a cool vintage-style Letterman jacket. Prices range from $40 on up to $300, but you might be able to grab them on sale for less. Head over to luckybrand.com to learn more. And this past month in Beatles history, 60 years ago, the Beatles filmed 10 promotional videos for 5 of their songs for distribution on music shows like Top of the Pops. By this time, the Beatles were growing tired of doing the rounds on TV stations to help promote their latest singles every few months, so someone had the bright idea, instead of having them do all that, just have the Beatles tape it themselves once and then send the clips to the various TV shows in the UK and around the world. So on Tuesday, November 23rd, 1965, the Beatles arrived at Studio 3 at Twickenham Studios, the very same studio where they would eventually return in 1969 at the start of the Let It Be sessions. Now, Joe McGrath was the director for the shoot, and together they mimed 10 performances of 5 songs. 3 versions each of We Can Work It Out and Day Tripper, 2 versions of I Feel Fine, and 1 version each of Help and Ticket to Ride. Now, the shoot lasted into the early hours of the next day. In the end, the whole production cost £750 and paid for itself when the BBC paid £1,750 for the right to broadcast several of the clips on Top of the Pops. Later, other deals were struck with other broadcasters around the world. Now today, you can see several of these on the official Beatles YouTube channel. Alright everyone, that will do it for this episode. Be sure to let me know what you think of the casting choices so far and what you thought of the Beatles Anthology series and the collection with a comment down below. Also, I want to let you know that this will be my final news roundup for this year. there's a lot of changes going on in my personal life, and I'm just not going to be able to keep up with this monthly schedule. The plan is to come back sometime in February at the start of the new year, pick up then, but time will tell. I'm not sure exactly yet. You know, things are kind of up in the air at this point. But I just want to thank you all so much for supporting the channel, for supporting this series. I really love doing this. I also want to thank my members over on Patreon who help to keep this channel going with their monthly support. I'm your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side.